Chris Redfield's secret mission. It was sometime between part 4 and 5, and bioterrorists had put evil virus we upon, but they didn't know Chris Redfield knew it, and the big sent him to eliminate the enemies. Chris Redfield drove in his car, and then a police car stopped him and said,
"I have to arrest you. This car is stolen."
But Chris Redfield said,
"No, this car isn't stolen, and you are bioterrorists."
And then he punched the officer and his head was missing, and there was blood everywhere, and his brains and bone, and then Chris Redfield was driving around some more until he saw a big truck in front of evil terrorists' base. So he drove to the car and made backflip into the air, and he landed in the base, but he crushed some terrorists, but it was okay because they were evil. And then there was blood everywhere, and they were reduced to a bloody mess, and they were dead. Chris Redfield jumped out of his car and was surrounded by evil terrorists.
"We will never surrender," said the terrorists.
"Then I have no option but to kill you until dead," said Chris Redfield, and then he punched the evil terrorists until they were dead. But his mission wasn't over, not yet, and he got into their laboratory, but was attacked by giant black evil crap. The monster attacked him with his claws, but Chris Redfield shot him in the face, but his bullets bounced off of monster skin.
"It seems that the plaster was not strong enough, but I am,"
shouted Chris Redfield, and he punched the crab, and the crab was dead.
"Now I have to stop terrorists,"
said Chris Redfield, and went to the next room. "We're full of Therosistus." "Freeze!" yelled Chris Redfield, and shot at terrorists, and the Rittersaurus were dead, but not one of them, and he had a Gatling gun and shot at Chris Redfield and hit him.
"I'm not dead, just hit by minigun,"
said Chris Redfield, and then he punched evil Gatling terrorists, but terrorists laughed.
"You big, so I need big punch,"
said Chris Redfield, and then he screamed, "Chris Redfield, power punch 1!" And he punched the terrorist, and the terrorist was dead, and his head was missing, and there was a hole in his chest.
"Now it's time to accomplish my mission and defeat my enemies,"
said Chris Redfield. So he went into another room and found evil scientists working on ugly black worm thing.
"You better not experiment on monster, or I have to arrest you,"
said Chris Redfield to scientists, and he hoped that they would stop it and surrender. But scientists said,
"No, we will never surrender. Attack!"
And then the ugly worm thing attacked Chris Redfield and punched him in face, and Chris Redfield was punched to floor, but he stood up a can of gasoline and set himself on fire.
"Now I will kill you, monster,"
said Chris Redfield, and punched the monster. And the monster was on flames, and it was dead because Chris Redfield killed it with his punch.
"No, please don't kill us,"
said the scientist. And Chris Redfield said, "No, I won't kill you because I'm not evil like you," he said, and went to the next room, but killed scientists anyway. But it was okay because they attacked him with pistol, and BTW, they were pedophile Nazis, so it was okay. Suddenly, evil lizard monster sneaked up on him, so Chris Redfield had to punch it, but it was no problem, and the monster was dead. But there were other lizard monster, but Chris Redfield killed them with bare hands. Chris Redfield went to other room, but the terrorists were fleeing with cars, so Chris Redfield had to take cars to catch them. But his car wasn't fast enough to catch, so he went out of the car and punched big truck to block street, and there was a big explosion, and terrorists were trapped and went out of the car and surrendered. Now everyone was happy, and the BSAA and the police had captured the terrorists and said, "Chris Redfield, you saved world. We thank you." But Chris Redfield said unobstructive,
"I did what I had to be done to defeat the enemies and save America and the American dream from evil terrorists. But evil isn't over because everyday people drive cars and pollute the air. So we have to stop destructing the environment and save the rainforest. So our children and children will live in world worth living in."
And everyone cried, and then pollution was stopped, and everyone happy. End. Thank you for watching. Please check out my other videos. They're also things.